Wouter Tulp is the illustrator of over 100 children's books and a character designer at Sony Pictures Animation. In this mini-series, Wouter shares with Bobby his love of character design, his techniques and processes, and gives us a peek into his newest schoolism course, Conceptual Characters with Wouter Tulp. We hope you enjoy it.
Hey Wouter, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me about your class, Conceptual Characters with Wouter Tulp on schoolism.com. Something that really caught my eye as I was going through your lessons and everything was the character designer's toolbox. Can you kind of explain what you mean by that and what it's used for?
Yes, of course. The character designer's toolbox, it's not a toolbox literally, like it's not a toolbox in which we carry our pens and pencils. It's not a toolbox for drawing techniques. It's a toolbox we use for our mind as we come up with ideas for our character. So it's basically, you can think of it more or less as a checklist of elements we need to think of when we come up with ideas for our characters. So the core of the toolbox would be two questions, basically. Who is my character and what does he look like? And basically these two questions, they come from character design. You know, the character is who is my character, and the design is what does he look like. We need to combine those two elements when we design a character. So then there's a left column of the toolbox that deals with all the elements that answer the question, or you know, where we can ask questions about who the character is based on the starting with the story, but also the personality, the behavior, the emotion, everything that has to do with who the character is. And then the opposite side deals with what the character looks like. So that has to do with the shape, the outfit, the poses, color, style. And then the toolbox is used to ask questions. So for example, how is the personality of my character expressed in the style? Or how is the behavior of the character expressed in the pose? And this way we can ask questions, and once we can answer these questions through our designs, then we are sure that our designs reflect who the character is. And I think most important in designing characters is to have a reason for why the character looks the way he does, because or she, because if it's a random drawing, then, you know, we can make cool drawings, but if we're telling stories, once we can make sure that there's a reason for our design choices, everything will start to connect, and it will feel like a world that couldn't have looked any different, and everything starts working together to tell this story.
What are some of your favorite character designs and why?
I really like Carl Fredricksen. I think from the movie Up, I think his design is, you know, it's basically all squares, but I think it's so true to his personality, how he kind of lost the will to adventure. He is old, but you know, the shape language is and especially when you pair him with his wife, who is all flexible and rounded, then you see the contrast of those two design languages. Even if you wouldn't know anything about the story, I think the design already says something about who they are. And then another design I really like for a different reason is Maleficent. What I really like about the design there is that it's done so clever, where of course the design has some villainous elements, the pointy shapes and all, but especially what I like is the outfit, where we have this recognizable shape, but when she opens her arms, we see a completely different shape appear, and it's still recognizable. But, you know, so the designer understood that this character needs to move with this long robe and still needs to be a beautiful, appealing design. I think that's a really clever design.
Fantastic. There you go. That's Conceptual Characters with Wouter Tulp on schoolism.com. Check it out if you want to learn more.